Hello, my name is Miranda HP,
And I'm Connor Calloway.
and we are the Bountiful Bards,
Please join us in our first ever recorded D&D campaign.
the Fountains of Cathaidra.
All right, here we go. Time for another start. If you remember last time, you had just got finished defeating a gelatinous cube trying to devour you. Seemed a little bit smarter. Well, you don't know. You have no other cubes to base this off of. But for Miranda...
Smarter than my ice cubes that I typically have.
Yes, you don't like ice cubes.
No, I don't. Liam might.
For good reasons. But anyways, for Miranda and anybody else listening, it was smarter than your average cube. Maybe it had something to do with sitting inside the magical siphoning chamber. Who knows?
The dryer.
Last time we left off... Oh, I don't think we have any more announcements. We are almost to 400 downloads by now, I believe. That's pretty awesome. And we have bypassed episode 20. That's also really cool. So, mile markers all the way around. So, where we last left off, you're being grabbed by the ankle.
I kick it.
Roll me
I
a
fucking
attack.
stomp it.
With your, you stomp it, roll me a
Yeah.
strength check as an attack.
Okay. 18.
You stomp its head in, and as you do so, you stomp, and it breaks and shatters and falls to pieces.
I've had enough of you.
What would you like to do now?
Well, you think we cleaned out the contaminants, Jane?
The little sparky ball of electricity goes.
Good. Excellent. Okay. So, as I was saying, did the gelatinous cube leave anything behind besides automaton detritus?
When you look, you talking about like inside on the ground?
Yeah.
No, just means to be a bunch of parts everywhere.
Okay, so I'm gonna go look inside the dryer.
You would think if Leah doesn't, I'm going to tell you, a gelatinous cube came in to feast off the siphons, and the automatons kept trying to stop it and losing.
Right.
Unfortunately, the ultimate janitors were trying to clean up the ultimate spill, and they inevitably lost, so they sealed it away.
Poor thing.
Unfortunately.
Okay. So,
You go. What do you do?
well, I'm looking inside the generator. I keep calling it a dryer because you said it looks like a dryer.
Okay. It's a large, spherical. The inside seems to look like pieces of tile, all etched with multitudes of sigils, very tiny, you can't even see. But there are 6 nozzles that seem to be protruding into this.
So I assume it's very clean now that the orb
Extremely
oozes.
clean.
Okay, it's
yeah.
Great.
The ooze has cleaned all of it.
Perfect. Just all right, fine. Close the sucker up.
You know, now that I think about it, it's probably some very magical, like a magical disinfectant that just grew a life of its own.
Yeah, probably something left in the engineering's fridge for too long.
Yes, or beneath the sink.
Duh. Oh God, that's even worse. Okay.
So you close it and shut and lock it down?
Yep.
Okay.
Because that's what it says to do in the manual.
Right. You go to set the dials, and once you do, and you've set all 6 of them the way you want to, above the glass door there is a red light that seems to turn on.
So since it's a siphon, it probably needs something in it, right?
Mm-mm.
No? Okay.
The red button you read in the manual says ready to start.
Oh, well, I pushed to start.
You push the red button?
Yeah.
Okay. It starts like a washing machine.
Do.
Yeah. No. As you press it, it begins to hum. And you do hear a churning sound as some machinery begins to working its way over and over itself. A machine coming up to speed, something Leah has never seen before, but is just amazed at what's going on.
I think at this point, too, like, Leah fell down, big hole into ground, ended up in closet with a disappointing lack of brooms, had an automaton attempt to murder her, had other automatons rush at her, saw one standing motionless and kind of twitching with a cleaver, and then found a magic cloak that's super rad, and 4 balls of electricity that may or may not be murderous depending on how they feel that day, a whole bunch of other automatons that were filled with goo but still attacking her. I think she's kind of at that, like, yeah, sure, this is cool.
I'm tired.
Whatever.
How do I get the hell out of here?
Does this turn the circle thingy on?
the nozzles on the inside of the glass, as you peer through it, begin to start dripping liquid of some sort into the container. You, Leah, feel a rush of excitement for some reason, like out of nowhere. And you realize it's how you feel whenever you're trying to connect with your magic. And it just, you sense it like it's happening near you, but it's not happening to you, like a faint whisper as these different strands of color just there. It's liquid, but what is it for real? Is it even there? You can't even like understand what's going on as these liquids are poured into this container and begin to mix into this storm of color. They won't necessarily congeal to form, like one solid color of black, like mixing paint or pigments, but it's just a swirl of color as it's feeling its way up. And you see the higher numbers, that the higher dials with more numbers are putting in more of one color than another. After it's done mixing, the clamps, there's sparks of electricity that arc off the clamps as energy seems to run through the piping into the walls, and then all of the lights get brighter in the room you're in. And you hear some noise going off behind you as you turn to look, as the automatons you passed in the tunnel all come walking in.
Jane, can you tell them I'm not here to kill, please?
Before Jane can do anything, they all come in and their eyes are, instead of red, they're now blue. And they look in and you see like blue scan light come out from their eyes as they look around and inside and scanning over all the pieces and then scanning over Jane and then scanning over you.
Don't worry, I cleaned it up for you.
The automatons don't say anything. They just look to each other. They all nod, and then they slowly begin picking up their fallen brothers and sisters and carrying them out of the room.
I don't know what you visualize them as, but I think of them as the robots from Castle in the Sky. Like, that's exactly how they look in my head.
Probably not that big, shrunken down, but yeah,
smaller.
why not? I love that.
That's what they picked. That's what they seem like to me.
Yeah. Now that they're not red-eyed, they're still dirty and stuff, but now they're not red-eyed and look like they're trying to kill you. They seem to be docile.
Can I get one's attention?
You go over and wave at it. Mm-hmm. As you walk over, it stops from picking up a broken arm, and then its head turns towards you, and you hear doo-doo-doo-doo.
Can I take a look at you for a sec?
Boop-doo-doo-boop. And stands up straight and turns its body towards you. So
I want to basically I want to touch it.
Okay.
What's it feel like?
Feels like metal.
Smooth? Is it riveted? Is it like...
Smooth. It's a smooth body.
Okay. Are there any sigils or anything engraved into it?
Doesn't seem to be on the outside.
Okay, I don't mean this in a rude way. Tink, tink.
You don't agree.
Does it ring hollow, or is he solid?
It's solid.
Okay. So I basically just want to kind of like walk around him in a circle and just, take a gander. His
head follows you. His body stays the same, but his head turns 360 degrees as you're going around.
That's fine. This is totally fine.
Beep, boop, boop, beep, beep.
Just never seen one of y'all before.
Goes back to its task.
Cool.
Picking up stuff, carrying them away.
Great. Okay, Jane. I assume you can communicate with your other friends without being there? Cool. No? Okay, so you want to... Let's duck in and be like, hey! Power's back online.
All right, she immediately zips away into the other room.
Okay.
What would you like to do now?
Well, I'm going to go back out in the hallway.
Okay. As you're moving back out into the hallway, you hear a voice in your head.
No shit.
Just out of nowhere. It's not the voice that's been calling your name. That's very ethereal. Mm-hmm. But you immediately hear, Leah, this is Theo. I can only do this twice. Please tell me you're alive.
I'm alive. How are you doing this? How are you?
A few moments pass. Oh my God. Where are you? I won't be able to reach out to you again until tomorrow, I don't think. But if you're safe, be calm, and I will get to you as soon as I can. The worm is gone.
I am underground. I am fairly inventive. Think I should be fine. All's well.
No reply.
Kind of like the Han Solo, like, we're fine down here. How are you? Miss Magic is evil. Can't even stick my head in to see the sparking orb, see how they're doing.
They are all dancing around each other. They're spiraling together. Two of them get close together and then pull apart to get closer, and then the other two pair off and come together, and then they pair off again. They seem very excited that there is now power in this underground station. You go to look out in the tunnel that is now brilliantly lit. Over to your right, where the etchings of that teleportation circle are, you see that it is now highlighted with a pale blue in all of the etching. You see it as well in the other two that are covered in debris, but not in the far one that seems to be broken. It seems that the only teleportation circle that seems to work in this room is right there. Okay. You also hear the sounding of a door sliding, a stone door sliding upward as you peer through in the hallway and up the stairs, and you can see that the door that said to the surface has completely raised up.
Okay.
What would you like to do?
Well, really want to take Jane with me, but I don't think she can leave. Plus, she seems pretty stoked. Okay, so stick my head back in with them and be like, hey, Jane, if you could ask the atomotons to
Jane flies down.
To clean up the debris in the big hallway area. I think only one of the teleportation circles works. You can come see.
Jane flies out, and it's very quick and nimble as she flies through the tunnel, and she gives off a bunch of different sparks of irritation, it seems like, and then leaves and then goes up the hallway up into the stairs, vanishes from sight, and then comes back down and goes...
I don't know what that means.
She just sparks a little bit more.
Okay. Well, because I guess I'm gonna head to. Well, I really want to use the teleportation circle. But is it a one-way thing?
Who knows?
Is that automaton who had a cleaver, like, angry, or is it happy?
Do you go to the cafeteria to check on it?
I'm kind of curious, yeah.
Okay. As you go into the cafeteria to check on it and you walk past, the cobwebs are gone.
Oh.
You see one of the automatons have completely just knocked them all down, and it has bundled them up and stored them somewhere. You go into the kitchen area, and you see the automaton standing there, kind of looking over, brushing off the top of the stone. The cleaver has been set aside, walking over and moving some of the barrels and opening them up, and then the head kind of tilts as it makes a few boop noises, and then closes the barrel back, realizing that it's empty. And it's just kind of scanning the area and looking around.
But with blue instead of red?
Yeah. Blue eyes, yes.
Okay. So, I wave. Sorry, seems like you've been out of food for a minute.
Beer, beer. As it comes walking over towards you.
I did turn the power back on, though.
It kind of does a full scan, or the head turns 360 degrees, look at the entire room, and then looks back. Makes a few boop noises and holds out its mechanical hand. So when you try to fist bump it, it just shakes its fist aggressively, and you go to hold out your hand, and it drops 5 little red beads into your hand.
Huh. What are these?
Points at it doesn't have a mouth, but it points to where its mouth would be.
Okay.
And then holds up one finger.
All right, so I take one.
Okay.
And then...
You didn't realize it till now. Anxiety's been fueling you, but you've been starving.
Oh, well.
It's been you've been down here for about a couple hours, and just all the excitement and everything. You didn't realize just how hungry you were. You take the red pill and put it in your mouth, and it immediately tastes. It tastes dusty, and you're just like, ugh, but you accidentally break it with your teeth, and your mouth is immediately filled with just a warm, hot turkey dinner with mashed potatoes and, oiled grilled greens and a good helping of probably ale of some sort. Just a good, strong ale. It just fills your belly, and you feel completely full.
Holy shit, did they say Willy Wonka on them?
Yeah, dude.
Thanks, Willy.
Yeah.
Yes, you're Willy. Designation, Willie.
And turns around and walks away. How do you like my robot noises?
I love it. We now have one named Willie. I haven't named the other ones yet. One of them has to be named Stan.
So Willie the Cook, write that down.
Willie the Cook. And I eventually want to be able to understand them. Or train them to understand me and speak my language.
Right. The last only area that you have is the one at the top of the stairs that you'd be able to gander at if you wanted to do that now that it's opened.
I'll take a gander at it.
You do. When you go upstairs, you see there is a teleportation circle in a hexagon-shaped room with about 15-foot ceilings that end flat. Ends flat.
So many damn hexagons.
Right.
What does this one say it goes to?
You read the bottom and it says surface way.
Okay, so that goes to the surface.
Right.
That one goes to the city. But I don't know where the surface one comes out, and I don't know where the city one comes out. So they're both equally risky.
Very true.
I'm gonna flip a coin.
Okay, would you like a coin to flip?
Yes, please.
All right, here you go.
Surface it is. Okay, so I'm going to go find Jane one last time.
Jane meets you. She's coming out of the lobby area where the fountain is, still giving off a bunch of disapproving sparks. Her siblings are, you can see that one of them flying in the entryway, and they seem to be guiding and discussing with the atomotons, and who knows, maybe even starting to clean up the area.
Yeah, that would make sense. Okay, so I don't know if you can come through the teleportation circles with me, Jane, but yep, I'm going to leave you here in charge. You're in charge.
The one spark like, yes, I know.
See if you can teach the automatons to understand me or speak this, because I assume they're intelligent enough to do so.
Kind of maybe it's what you ascertained from it. I have no idea.
Well, we need to work out some way of communicating. So even if there's a way that maybe we can power a device that can translate something, this opens up a whole line of inquiry into things like a box that answers when you talk to it. Sorry, I think I got like something else anyway. So I'm gonna head to the surface because it has been a doozy of a day. And I'm gonna come back at some point, hopefully. I hope I can. Can I come back, do you think?
She gives off one spark of a yes.
Okay. So here's the other thing. Where I am, and I guess when I am, is kind of like a good way to put it, because y'all have been here for a really long time. I don't know if you know how long you've been here.
She gives 2 sparks to say that she doesn't.
Well, it's been how long?
Since the shrieking?
Yeah.
About a little over 1800, a little over 800 years.
Okay, so it's been like
almost a millennia.
800 years.
She sparks 3 times.
Is she spazzing out over it, or is she just like, oh?
You may make that as a maybe. Unsure. Don't know. Magic 8 ball. Tell me.
Soap bubbles. Okay. So magic is considered evil or whatever where I am. Yeah.
You actually see the electrical ball kind of turn a little bit. Confused.
Yeah. Well, you know how people are when they're afraid of something.
She sparks once.
So that's what it is. So essentially, I think it is best right now for me not to tell anybody about this, because I want to discover more and learn more. And the more I understand, I think the safer both of us are. Because the last thing I want is them coming in here and being ridiculous and trying to break things or whatever. Because I want to figure the heck out what happened.
There's a few seconds, and then there's a spark, just one spark, just a yes for your yes. And then one of the siblings kind of comes into the hallway towards the tunnel. Towards the teleportation circles, the main ones. Gives off a bunch of flickering sparks. Jane seems to rotate in the air, does the exact same thing, and then rotates back to you. Comes really close to your chest, where part of her goes inside your chest.
I cup my hands around her.
And she gives off a few, sparks of thank you and appreciation and wanting to see you again.
Me.
And she sparks, just a very rhythmatic beat. You can actually feel in your chest. It kind of gives you the tingles before she's gone. Kind of like goosebumps in a good way.
Yeah.
And she goes back down the hall to see what her brother or sister was trying to get her attention for.
Okay. So I take one look around and I watch the automatons, going about their sweeping duties. And I change my cloak back to blue and step onto the teleportation circle.
Okay.
What happens?
Nothing. You're just standing in this on top of this colored teleportation circle.
Okay, I'm assuming there's something I have to say.
Probably.
Is there any, please keep your arms and legs in at all times?
You would imagine that's what the 3 inches of being lifted off the ground says, to stay within that circle.
Sure, I get that, but I meant, is there any, instructions or anything? Pull out the manual.
You pull the manual, and it says in the manual,
speak friend and enter.
No, speak the command phrase to activate the circle.
Does it say what the command phrase is?
It doesn't.
I'm going to say that to the surface thing it says on the arch on the outside.
It says surface way.
Yeah, I'm going to say that.
You say it?
Yeah.
What language do you say it in?
Radians.
Radian?
Yeah.
Okay.
I doubt it would do much good.
A few seconds go by as you say it out loud. And you stamp your foot. Seems like a stamp your foot moment. And you're like, damn it, come on. All of a sudden, right before you can finish the on.
I was just a little rusty.
everything goes black. And you feel like you're being squeezed through a tube.
Oh, great.
You feel like you can't breathe, like you're being crushed. You begin to panic. What the hell's going on? Did I screw up? Am I caught between the fabrics of space and time, forever to be eroded, never believing if I'm dead or alive? You squint up at the sky. It's cloudy. It's the evening. And you look around, and you're standing on a rock outcropping that is jutting up out of the ground pretty high, probably about 30 or 40 feet out off the ground, maybe even 50. It's like a peak of stone.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see from the top there's a pathway that kind of leads back down. Roll me a perception check.
Man, that dice is just 7.
7. You look down and you see the light that is emitting from where you've now just appeared dies away and goes dormant.
Okay.
You can see on top of the stone is another teleportation circle, and just on the outside of the cropping of it, where there's just enough feet for you to see, there is an etching in radian that says Station Way.
Okay.
So you believe that's probably the activation phrase.
Sure. So to a train station, metro station,
Right.
station.
Roll me one more perception check, just to see on the horizon.
See if I melt you down. Haha. Threatening works. 20.
20. So you look out, and you completely get a full 360 view, and finally, you see a mass of people, the Lance, at a large distance.
Okay, but they don't see me or any of this.
No. They are at least 4 or 5 hours walk. But since you're out here on these marshes, there's no cover except for this stone outcropping, and you see a few more stone protrusions out in the distance, maybe even a barren tree of some sort. But for the most part, no. They probably don't see you. You're a speck in the distance, but
Okay,
you can
good.
see them because there's so many of them all together.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna in my pack. I'm assuming I have one of those if you remember back in the day before we had that there GPS. You know how you'd always have the maps in your glove compartment.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm assuming I have one of those because we were going on an expedition.
Correct.
Okay. So I'm going to take it out and I'm going to orient myself
Okay.
so I know where I am on the map.
All right.
And I'm going to make a tiny notation
Okay.
for myself.
All right. So just so you can actually know where the teleportation circle is.
Yes, and I'm going to hide the map on my person.
That's not a problem. So you tuck it back away, you fold it in, and you hide it back on your person.
Yep.
Um.
And I'm going to focus on the cloak being super boring.
Okay, just drab gray.
Yep.
Okay, not a problem at all.
Super innocuous. And
Right.
then I'm going to, okay, shiny folks that way. Gonna get down and start slogging my way over.
Yeah, you certainly can.
Cool. Because I don't want them to know where I came from. And as I'm walking over to them on the, however long hour slog you said it was, I'm going to be thinking up a wonderful, marvelous, bard-worthy cover story.
What's the cover story? Come on, Miranda, be a bard.
Well, it's going to be pretty typical. It's going to be, I fell down, I passed out.
Got ouchies.
Yeah. I woke up. I was at the bottom of this, weird ravine somehow. crawled up, and I guess things just shifted with that crazy-ass worm,
Mm-hmm.
and I ended up over here. And then deflect by asking about the worm.
Okay. You get to camp about 3 hours later. You're tired.
Yeah.
You're wet from
Yep.
the rain, annoyed, and the first person to see you is Radia. She says, Leah! Leah, you're alive! And she comes running up to you, and she grabs you in this big dwarfen hug and lifts you up off the ground and starts crushing you.
Doing the thing where like your hands are down, you're like,
Yeah, she's like, oh my gosh, I was so worried.
okay,
And all of a sudden you hear
super tired.
Theo go, put her down. Enough. And Radia puts you down. She goes, yes, she's alive. Go and help the others. Let me check her over. Go get the captain as well, or the commander. Let him know that we found another straggler that's come in since everyone's scattered.
Hi.
Leah,
Yeah.
are you okay?
Uh-huh.
Good. I don't know what I would have done if I'd have lost you. I don't know what I would have told your mother. I would end up dead shortly after, I'm sure.
Yeah, she probably would have been mad.
Have you eaten? Are you full? What do you need? Are you broken? Are there any bones broken from that fall?
You know, it's weird. I'm just kind of banged up. I don't know if I just like it was like sand, or maybe it's because it was all moving because of that worm, because everything was all shifty.
I see.
I have no idea how I had nothing like. I mean, I got banged up, but nothing broke.
Right. Well,
Don't worry, my skin broke my fall.
that's good. That's good. After you fell, took another 30 minutes or so. Eventually, the worm gave up and rode off. The commander lost 4 or 5 soldiers, which is far less than I've actually seen in my time, and it's a lot better off. I unfortunately that we didn't lose more. He's taken it very hard, but the town's been completely destroyed. We can't go back, so we're starting to make our way back to Etchings. You may have a few questions for me.
Yeah, couple.
Since we're still alone, you probably don't. I can do magic, and when you vanished into that crevice, I had to at least see if you were alive. So if you responded to me, I knew you were alive. If you didn't, I knew you were dead. I was between a rock and a hard place.
Okay.
But you have to keep it secret.
Yup. Probably a good thing.
It is probably a good thing because not only am I to be kept safe, but others are to be kept safe too.
So there are others.
Of course there are others.
And you know about them?
Of course I do. Can you do magic?
Maybe.
Can your brother?
Kinda.
Then your mother's spark does live on.
I knew it! I knew it! I mean...
Shh. We'll have more than enough time for questions later. We have to be careful. I didn't want you to find out this way. We were trying to keep you safe.
I've been trying to parse you out for weeks.
I understand that.
It's sad if you were safe or not, because Jimothy's pretty freaked out about all this.
Of course he's freaked out. You've been told all your lives that... My accent is coming out, I'm sorry. You've been told all your life that people that don't make magic in the church are evil. But we're not.
No, I just feel pretty crotchety.
Welcome to the club. I have felt crotchety most of my life, ever since I found out I could do this.
We definitely should talk about this, but hey!
About that time,
I'm back.
The commander comes up and goes, Theo, I see that another one of your students has made it back. Leah, it's good to see you.
Oh, you too.
Yeah, he puts a big gauntlet hand on your shoulder and you just feel it rock through your whole body.
Yeah, okay.
Is everything fine?
Yep, I could really use a bath.
How did you get back? They told me that you fell down a crevice.
I don't know. I think some of the shifting from the worm or something. I really don't know. I blacked out. It was rough.
Theo goes, she fell into a cave system. Maybe left by the worm, a tunnel? And he goes, that makes sense.
I probably got disoriented and climbed up the opposite way that I fell in.
There's been several of the Lance that have journeyed down in these tunnels before, when necessary, to try and find others. We're heading back. We're going to be marching through the night. Toot sweet, so that the worm doesn't catch our guard down.
Great. Y'all got carts?
They do have carts.
Let's see, Leah took 9 points of damage total, so that puts her at 11 health points, which, well, a little more than that, but still, she's kind of like, like she probably looks a little singed.
Phil brings you over to the wagon with the rest of the students, and they're all happy to see you. They are just excited to hear about what happened. She keeps telling them to leave you alone as her bruise is beginning to form on your cheek. You all settle in as the troops all gather together and begin to march back towards Etchings. Come to find out, Radia and some of the other students were able to collect probably about 2/3 of the golden sheets that you found, which is going to be wonderful information for Prime Regis Afala, I believe is their name, who studies the skies. There was some loss of life, unfortunately, but that thing does come with these type of adventures. As you head back to Etchings, you look up as the rain has stopped. A cold wind has swept over you. You bundle yourself deeper
Corb
into your
is
cloak.
The history guy.
Hmm?
Corb is the history dude.
Correct, but I'm talking about.
Leaflin is math and science.
Yes, you took notes.
Is the psych person, and Thiel is the archives.
Mm-hmm. Which one is the astronomy and weather patterns?
I don't know.
Well, I have it right here.
Hatter, Lithiu. Maybe it's Lithiu. Because I think
it's Afala.
Okay.
Yeah, Prime Regis Afala.
Afala.
Who you know is a female air genasi.
Oh, well, I didn't have that written down.
As they show you, Radia is just showing you all of the golden golden sheets, and how excited she is that they found it. And one of the other students brings out a cask of wine.
Yeah.
It's a cherry wine that they pour into some wooden mugs they have and hand over to you. You sit back at the back of the wagon. You sip it. You hold it between your legs while you strum your lute a little bit, and you look out back over the marshes, knowing you have a way possibly to some legendary city buried somewhere out there in what once was.
Oh, and Jane is going to be so excited to teach me about the bathroom.
And as you look up into the sky, the rain has solidified into snow as the first whites of the new season come upon you. And you feel a jolt of excitement pass through you as you feel your power grow once again. Welcome to level 4. And that's the end of chapter 3.
The wagon explodes. Everybody dies.
Are you enjoying the story so far?
Yeah, very much.
Okay, you didn't die. Don't squint at me. I can't make it all easy handouts.
I never expected it to be.
You must overcome great strife in order to be a worthy hero, Miranda. Well, welcome to level 4. Hope you enjoyed. When we come back together again, we'll start with a new chapter. I have to work on the chapter. We've kind of reached the end of my preparedness, so we'll see what happens next. Thank you for listening. Please leave a review anywhere you found us. You can reach out to us on Twitter at Bountiful Bards. We hope to see you again on the civilized road.
And bring bread and cheese.
As the story goes, until then.